Tyler from the NewTek and New Media Synergy, and I'm here with Philip. I want to ask you a few questions about entrepreneuring.
Yeah.
Is this your first business startup?
I'm actually not the owner, but I've been at NewTek 13 years. But before coming to NewTek, I started a baseball card store when I was 15 years old. And then when I was 18 years old, I started a video production company. So being an entrepreneur has always kind of been in my blood, and it's a lot of fun, and it's scary at times, but you know, it's like with anything. If you want to have big success, you've got to take some risk.
Do you have any suggestions for upcoming startups and entrepreneurs?
You know, I think the thing that holds more people back than anything is fear. Everybody is afraid of failure, of looking dumb, making a bad decision. And the people that I see that are the most successful are the ones that don't care. They're like, you know what, I'll fail, but guess what, I'm going to learn something. And so, you know, just going out and trying it. I mean, it's like you're sitting here interviewing. Y'all are 14, 15, 16-year-old guys here, right? How old are you?
I'm 13.
13, all right, you look 14. Okay, you look old. You're very mature young men. But, you know, the thing is you guys aren't afraid. You're sitting here at demo interviewing some of the heavy hitters that are here and future heavy hitters, and that's what entrepreneurship is all about. It's about not being afraid, getting out there and doing something because, you know, you guys are getting noticed here. It's like how many 14, 15-year-old kids are running around demo? Not many. And, you know, you're sitting here with a mic. You got a mic flag. You know, it's pretty sweet setup. And, you know, that's the thing that I tell my kids is don't be afraid, because fear holds you back so much. You know, and you have to look at everything as an opportunity. And when people tell you no, you know, you got to listen to people. You know, if somebody gives you advice, they're probably giving you advice from personal experience, but that doesn't mean they're right. You know, I had some ideas back in the early days of the internet. I also owned an internet provider, and there were some things I pitched to older people who said, oh, that's a terrible idea, you know, because people are afraid of change. You know, at NewTek, one of the books that a lot of our executives are required to read is called The Innovator's Dilemma. And what that's about is actually you want to listen to your customers, but sometimes your customers don't want change because it's inconvenient. And if you really spend too much time just listening to the people around you, then you're not going to innovate. And so in the book they talk about when hard drives were 5.25-inch hard drives, the leader in that asked their customers and basically said, do you want bigger or larger capacity 5.25-inch drives, or would you rather have 3.5-inch drives? All the customers said, we just want more capacity. We don't care about the form factor. So they kept making higher capacity 5.25-inch drives, but then along comes another company that makes 3.5-inch drives, and everybody migrates. So they always say after a paradigm shift, a lot of times the leader before is not the leader after because they fail to innovate. Hey, what's going on?
Not much. So what are you doing?
Well, you know, we make a device called the TriCaster. And if you've ever watched streaming video, which you guys are in that age group that I'm sure you've watched a few live webcasts, we found a way to take the giant TV truck that you would see behind a sports stadium at a pro football game, and we shrunk it down into a little 20-pound box, and we allow anybody to produce live TV, whether it's for the web, for television, or for digital signage, for example, in a stadium, so the big LED screens.
And how does this work exactly?
Well, you know, when you have a TV truck, there's all these big pieces that come together. You have a video switcher, which you plug your cameras into, and it mixes the cameras together. You have effects to do transitions. You have a character generator to add in titles. You have DDRs, which roll in video clips. And basically, we've combined all of this into one interface in one box. So what would normally be a team of 5 to 10 people in $1 million semi-trailer full of equipment can fit on a folding table and one person can run it. What's really cool about TriCaster is it's allowing a lot of live webcasts to be created that normally would never have been made. We work with MTV. We just did a Foo Fighters music video launch. We do stuff with Kiss, Bon Jovi. We work with the Miss Universe pageant, Miss Teen USA, the X Games. All the screens at the X Games were actually powered by TriCaster. But what's really cool is the same TriCaster that the X Games is using is also being used by 5th graders in Las Vegas to do a daily newscast. So the idea is making live TV available to anyone, not just people with $1 million of cash to throw at expensive equipment.
So any and all age groups, really.
Actually, you know what? Your age group is actually probably more qualified than any because you're not scared. You know, a lot of older people, when they're looking at new technology, are kind of scared to try things new and think outside the box. The cool thing about young people is you guys don't even care about the box. You just want to do something cool, which is why young people innovate and do really cool things. And I think you guys need to figure out how to use a TriCaster.
How much do one of these cost regularly?
Well, they're not. Compared to $1 million TV truck, it's really, really cheap. But for schools, they start at around $5,000. But for $5,000, you get your own television studio, and it also does green screen, so you can do virtual sets, and it looks like you're in $1 million soundstage out of one little black box sitting on a table. The TriCaster is basically a Wirecast system on steroids. It's a lot more professional. You know, what we see a lot of times is people that look at Wirecast just kind of trying it out, but anybody really making money doing live streaming is using a TriCaster. So some of the people in tech, since you guys are tech gurus, like Leo Laporte, do you know who he is? Leo Laporte uses a TriCaster. Adam Carolla uses a TriCaster. Jason Calcanis, here at Demo, they're using a TriCaster. TechCrunch is using a TriCaster. The high-end guys that want to look like television, that want that polish of broadcast television, are using a TriCaster. Here at the Startup America Lounge, we have a TriCaster set up. We've got a stage with a couple of cameras, an audio guy, and we're doing a live broadcast quality event with one guy sitting over there wearing a set of headphones creating a show. And one of the reasons live is important is because there's a lot of unknown elements with live. One, you can do it where it's live editing. So instead of having to take in 3 cameras, edit them, you know, by the time the interview's over, your editing's done. You've already mixed it together, and so now all you have to do is upload it to YouTube. But then if you're going out live, the cool thing about live is that it allows you to create a discussion around what's going on. You know, on a YouTube video, you upload a video to YouTube, and some people comment. But if you have a live webcast, you have people chatting, interacting with each other, and with the live streaming now, you actually have people that are watching live online affecting the outcome of a show.
Thanks. This was Vince for the NewTek and Philip from NewTek. Thanks, guys. See you next time.